One of my favorite cards to make is an all-white card, and I've got a really festive one here to show you today. We're going to get a start on our Christmas cards because I think we don't want to leave this to the very last minute. This one just embodies the whole feel of Christmas for me too. So let me show you what we're going to be using in today's card. We have a brand new set from Just Right called Christmas Vintage Labels 4, and I've used the sentiment from this. This one is one of the Spellbinder Shapeability sets called Fall Foliage, and it's got a gorgeous little sprig of pine there that we're using. We're going to create a large frame with the Grand Labels 1 dies from Spellbinders. And we're going to be using a couple more items here. The Heirloom Ornaments from 2011 and the A4 Embossability called Dainty Dots. Okay, let's just set these aside for the moment. Now, I'm going to start with the background, and we've got quite a few techniques in this card. This one happens to be one of my favorites. I'm calling it the Faux Mother of Pearl technique. And to start this, you need a piece of gloss white card, and that's important. And you're going to be using a snow cap dauber from Ranger. Okay, and we're also going to be using some Cosmic Shimmer Pearlescent Mica. Now, the way we do this is we get the dauber started onto our craft sheet and just put a bit of the paint on there. And we're going to pick it up with a cello bag. Now, I've just got this one from some packaging, and we're going to crumple it up and just wad it up there. So we get all sorts of little different areas. We're going to pick up the paint and we're going to start to move it across our gloss card. So you don't get a very, you get a really, really random pattern this way. Let's put a little more paint down. And we'll dab it again. And so you get just kind of swirling about pieces on your paint, on your background there. So once you're happy that you've got enough paint on that, and I think that looks really nice, we're going to set that aside. And let me take a grime boss and wipe that up so we don't get that on our card, okay? And the next thing we're going to do is use the pearlescent mica. So let me set this in here. I've got a little bit of a, like a mica brush here. I'm just going to pick up a little bit and flick it on there. And that will give you a lot of shimmer. You know, when you're looking at mother of pearl, it's got that kind of shimmer of different colors to it. So we're just going to get that going. It's subtle, it's really, really pretty and elegant. So when your recipient gets your card, they'll think, what am I looking at there? It's just a nice little way to add some interest and texture to your background. Let's put the lid back on that. And you can even dust it just a little bit if you like to adhere it. And you can kind of see it. I'll flash it a little bit in the monitor for you to see the shimmer of that coming out. Can you see that? Look how pretty that is. I love this. So let me tap off the extra. There we go. So now we've got a gorgeous background, and you can really catch that in the light. So pretty. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for the moment, and we're going to cut our frame, and then we'll put it together, okay? So what I've done is I've already gone ahead and taped my Grand Labels 1 onto a piece of coconut white card, and we're going to run it through the Grand Caliber. Let me get my plates. So to do this, I need my base plate with the cutting ridge going down into that, and the cutting plate with the cutting ridge going down into that, and the base plate over it. And you can hear the cracking, perfectly normal. Don't let that bother you at all. In fact, I kind of like it. It tells me it's doing its job. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this while it's still in the die. So I'm using the Dainty Dots, and we're going to just pick it up here. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of cheat this way. I'm going to see if I can turn it over. Let's see if I can get it to stay into place. Perfect. So I've got that right where I want it. I need my tan mat for this. I'll lay that over the top. And because I'm not going to close that folder because the dies are still in there, I'm going to put 2 pieces of cardstock on there. And let's carefully put the base plate down. So I'm going to open that back up. Lay that on top. And now I'm going to add my raspberry plate to it. There we go. Now, like I said, it's a little awkward sometimes because you've got all this plate going through, all this folder. Just get it all the way through there, and then you can engage the machine. And roll it through. Now, if you find it's too hard to turn, you may have too much cardstock on there. It does depend on the weight of the cardstock. Just stop, take a piece out. If it goes too easily through, you might want to add a piece. So what we have is a really beautiful frame. Let me put this to the side and I'll show you. We'll take our pieces apart. And remember, I've taped these on here. And we will show you how pretty this is. There we go. And you've even got a piece in the center here that's embossed, ready to use for another project if you like. So I'll set those aside, and you can see you've got the gorgeous edge that leaves that void where the die was, and then all the embossing is in the center of that. Now I've done one ahead of time because I wanted to add a little bit of mounting foam to it. So I'll peel that off, and we're going to put that over our background piece. Let's just center that over it, and I've clipped the corners a little bit. I hope I can get that square for you. There, so now you've got that beautiful background showing through your frame, and I'm going to put that onto a square piece, so we'll go ahead and do that and get it ready to go, and then we'll work on our focal element. A little bit of double-sided tape around the edge. And you know, you can use the Cosmic Shimmer glue for this. It's totally your own call, whatever you like to use in your crafting. Okay, center that. That looks pretty good. We'll set that aside for now, and we'll come back to that. Now, I've got the heirloom ornament here, and this isn't the absolute largest one. It's the next size down in the set, and we're going to cut that. So I'm going to tape that into place. We'll run that through the machine very quickly. And I think that's the last cutting that we're going to do. So we'll do a little bit of distress inking and whatnot. Okay. Now, while this is still in the die, and you've got to get it, there we go, off of our cutting plate, I'm going to use a combination of distress stains to do this with. I'm going to start with the brush pewter, which is the kind of silver stain, and I'm just going to shake it. You can hear the mixing ball in there. I'm going to put a bit onto my craft mat and pick it up with a piece of cut and dry foam and ink this. In fact, let's put a little bit more down. We're going to get this kind of dark. Really love the way this gives a beautiful silver metallic look to your ornament. And just to kind of soften that tiny bit, I'm going to use the picket fence, which is a white distress stain. Same thing, it's got a blending ball in that, so shake it till you hear that. We'll put a little bit of this, and you've got a kind of a dabber top here, so you just have to push on it to activate it. And I'm going to pick it up and just give that a little bit of a softer look around the edge. Kind of mats that stain a tiny bit. That should be nice. Okay, let's set those aside, and we'll show you. Pop that out. take that. And don't forget to take a grind boss and clean your dies off later after you've used the stain and the inks on them too. So you can see how I've got a really, really pretty edge all the way around my ornament with that one. So we'll put a little bit of mounting foam on the back, and then we're going to work on kind of our fall foliage spray element. So I think to put that in place may be the way to go. We'll start here and center the heirloom ornament right about there. And I've already done a sentiment from the new Just Right set because I think this is really lovely. I stamped it with a clear perfect medium and I embossed it with silver shine embossing powder so it'll all coordinate with my card. And I'm just going to put that right in the center of that bubble. And I've done a few of these ahead of time. I think this is going to be my new favorite die for Christmas items. These are little like pine sprigs and I just wanted to give them a bit of a highlight. So what I've done is I've taken the flake and glitter glue and just run a little line of it around the branch. Real lightly, come on, there we go. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit in the middle. And using the Cosmic Shimmer, this is called Ice Snow, and I'm really fond of this. It's got a lovely, kind of a chunky look to it, but it's really white. In fact, it's almost more of a clear iridescence. It's really, really pretty. Let me get just a piece of copy paper here, and I'll put that underneath it. And we'll sprinkle that over the top. You can see, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love that. Just give it a little press into your glue, and then we'll just tap off the extra. So pretty. And it's very subtle. It's not kind of a in-your-face bling. That's what I love about it too. Just got enough chunkiness to do the job and do it nicely. We'll set that aside and we'll start to put those onto our card. So let's see. I think I'll use a bit of the, let's use the glue dots for this. And we'll pop these into place and kind of work them so they're hanging down towards the ornament. And you can even cut these and use little bits of them in different places if you like, because it's actually got kind of a natural little spot where you could cut it right there. But just for our card, we'll just use them in one piece. And I love this. I'm going to just tack this one kind of coming down the side of the card there. And we'll do this last one. It's not quite dry, but I think we can be gentle with it. Pop that one right over the top there. To finish the card off, I've got a little messy bow that I've tied out of silver seam binding. And I've got one of our new pearl embellishments. Let me show you these. I'm so excited about them. There's 8 in a pack, and they're smaller than the larger ones that we've done previously. So if they were a little bit too big for you, these are going to be absolutely perfect. So we'll put a glue dot on that, and that will just finish off our card beautifully. Let's put one right there in the top of our pine sprigs. Let's mess that out a little bit, and we've got some little pieces going down. Oh, love it. Absolute perfection. Such a pretty card there. I think for your Christmas card, if you decide to go white on white with a little touch of silver, you've got a winner on your hands. Hope you've enjoyed it.